If you consider yourself an energetic, enthusiastic professional who's self-motivated, organized, and creative, this job's for you. You're starting this job with some great qualities, but you'll need some tools to go along with these. I've been training job coaches for over 15 years, and I know that as a job coach, you'll need to look at potential jobs in new and different ways, breaking down even the simplest job into individual tasks and teaching them to the supported employee. Ask yourself, what does it take? Well, what does it take to make a good cup of coffee? The first thing you need to do is get to know the people you're going to support. Hi, Nick. Looks like you're ready for work. This is Nick. He lives and works in our community. To assess how Nick will function in the work world, we need to talk to the people who know Nick best.
He's got a brother and then 2 sisters. On the right side, he's legally blind. And he also has some problems with his focusing and trying to keep his eyes on you at all times.
His right side is partially paralyzed, so he drags his foot a little bit, and his right arm is basically non-functional for any type of work type of activity. So he's pretty much relegated to his left hand, and his left side is the stronger side.
And what else would you like to say?
Powerful.
It takes a while to understand Nick's communication.
Home.
He wants to tell you so much and he can't. What do they like to do?
Once he really saw that we did care about him and we were going to give him the time, he really began to really blossom, I think.
He does better if he slows it down and just explains things, but as the worker needs to keep encouraging Nick to slow down. He lives in his own home, and he takes, a lot of pride in his home. There's ramps. I devised his bathroom so that there's a urinal, there's a walk-in shower. His microwave, it's color-coded, and he can push like 3 buttons, and he can make his own popcorn.
He loves exercising. He and his mother at least a couple times a week. It's kind of their thing to do.
We do his range of motion exercises, and then he loves to walk on the treadmill. Nick loves to swim, and he likes to dunk his mother. And then he also likes to play basketball. At home, he loves to play Uno. Then he also likes to go out for breakfast on Saturday mornings.
Can you get him a chocolate milk?
And that's a special treat. He goes with his dad and he has breakfast with the guys.
Nick was in high school basically until he was 21 years old, so he had 7 years of high school education. Now, 4 years were fairly much the standard high school routine. The last 3 years were pretty much just transitioning him into a work type of environment.
His first job was working as a custodian at a school, and he'd volunteered his time during that time. But then he moved on. He wanted to do more.
We have a cart ready for you here.
Anytime we had a situation where it was very routinized, Nick knew what he was doing, he felt very comfortable in those situations.
He needs probably more job training and job coaching than some of the other adults in his similar situation because of his limitations. And the other side, of course, he may need less than some other one. But I would guess it's one he needs more of the supervision to make sure he does the stuff right. Once he understands the routine, he's pretty good at doing that himself. The way we've got it set up right now is that his medication is given to Nick in the morning, so we've been able to set up the structure so that we don't have to worry about that as an additional burden or a concern for the job coach.
We're always watching his weight.
If you gave him a lot of food, he'll eat a lot. So we're constantly watching his diet and make sure that he gets his right quantities of the appropriate foods. Nick's at this situation, he'll never have a driver's license or anything like that, so it's either public transportation or private transportation.
We were doing a lot of bus training with Nick early in his years at West, and he became very independent where he started actually taking the bus from West to home by himself.
Right now, he does take the Badger cab.
Taxis have been, to a certain extent, a problem with Nick just because of the nature of taxis. They pick up other people, whether handicapped individuals or not, and they sometimes are late in getting to where they want to go. This type of thing frustrates Nick.
If there's a urinal, he is fine. It's when he needs the stool, it's very difficult for him, and he does have some problems, and staff would have to know that. We were looking at other kinds of job sites for him. Another thing is he really does want to be a bagger at the grocery store, and so that is another goal for him, and that's going to take a while.
He really has an ability to understand what his strengths and weaknesses are, and he has adapted.
Your community has many job opportunities for employees with disabilities. A grocery store is a good example. At first glance, a place like this has some obvious jobs. And there are even more. You just need to do a little investigating. This large store can be divided into areas, and each area has activities going on. Once you've identified the activities, you can focus on the steps necessary to complete the tasks, just like the steps for making coffee. And while you're here, notice things around you, like the temperature, the noise level, and possible accessibility issues. This will be very helpful when considering someone who might be right for the job. Nice wide aisles. Nick works here in the produce department at Kopp's Food Store. Nick has several job coaches to help him structure his day. One coach is Sherry.
My role as a job coach is to facilitate Nick's tasks at work.
So you're gonna do some pairs today. How's that, Granny?
We look for tasks that fit with Nick's abilities and where he can be productive in what he's doing. Right here, and then pull him over. Yep.
As you provide on-the-job support, there are a variety of strategies you can use.
Say, Nick, can you spread out those pears? They're all mounded up. Can you flatten them out a little? Spread them around?
Verbal cues are spoken instructions.
A little more?
Sometimes you need to make a very direct statement.
Let's just get it out of our way. Put it over there.
Other times you can be more subtle.
Can you show me where those pears go? Good man.
Be careful not to overwhelm somebody with your verbal cues. And remember, it's not only what you say, but how you say
So
it.
we're going to put the grapefruit on this half of the table, right, Nick?
A quiet and respectful tone can make a world of difference.
Yeah, perfect. Good.
Can you take some of these ones that are in the red pears over here and put them up into the top?
Sometimes it's necessary to touch the person you're working with because you need to guide them in a learning task. Be gentle. This is instruction, not punishment.
They need to go all this way.
Nick responds best to verbal cues. But whichever combination of instruction you use, remember people
There you
learn
go.
in different ways.
Good job.
Good job coaches are always looking for new work opportunities for the employees they support. Produce comes in boxes, lots of them, and all of these boxes need to be compacted for recycling. Here at Kopp's, employees use a trash compactor. Sherry and Nick spotted this potential job and discussed it with his supervisor. With the help of a coworker, Nick was introduced to the job.
You want to set your boxes in here, Then you lift up on this handle, drop it all the way down. Then you want to push the screen down button.
Carefully document the process.
What are you going to do now?
Nick was able to grasp this job very quickly, but be ready to jump in if needed. A bookstore is very different from a grocery store. It's quiet, there's less commotion, and the job tasks are very different. But this bookstore and Kopp's grocery store are similar in one way.
Hi, Nick. Hi. How are you? Good. Should we get started at work? Yeah. Okay. I'm helping you look for something here, Nick. Yeah, all right. Hold on. Okay, Nick. Biography. Where's biography? Right here?
In the afternoons, Nick,
Good job.
with the help of his job coach, shelves books. These book carts are difficult to maneuver. Because Nick has limited use of his right arm, some adaptations had to be made.
We have it so that there's a golf cart handle, so he can push it around with just one hand.
It's our job to problem solve, be creative, and concentrate on modifying what needs to be changed. Remember, sometimes a piece of duct tape is all you'll need.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Sherry.
How's it going?
Very good.
Good, good. Do you have a few minutes?
I do.
Good. I wondered if I could talk with you about Nick.
Okay.
I haven't seen you for a while and just wondered how things are going since I saw you last.
Oh, well, things are going well with Nick.
Every now and then, Sherry checks in with Nick's employers to get their feedback. It's Sherry's way of building a positive relationship among employer, employee, and job coach. Good communication contributes to long-term success. Remember, you're an advocate for the supported employee and your agency. Be professional. Dress neatly and appropriately for each job site. Develop relationships with coworkers and managers. Be tactful even when others are not. Be on time for worksite meetings and visits. Lead by example. The supported employee is part of a work environment, a community of coworkers. It is your job to help them become a contributing member of this community. Encourage them to sign a Get Well card, contribute for a coworker's birthday present, and attend holiday parties.
Is there any problems that Nick is having, Mike? Anything that we need to work on?
Well, I have started to notice recently that he's taking longer and longer breaks. And some days it's difficult to get him back to work.
Okay. Well, I have some strategies that I could think of that we could use to help the situation, but I
Okay.
need more information.
Okay.
Despite your best efforts, problems may arise. You're a problem solver. Clearly identify the problem before attempting to solve it. Talk to the employer, supervisors, and coworkers to get all of the information. Get at the root cause of the problem. And make sure you are correcting only what needs to be corrected.
Those are about all the concerns that I have.
Okay. Well, I'd like to talk to Nick about this problem he's having with breaks and even get his input. And I'd like to get back to you on that in a couple of weeks with some ideas.
All right, great. I look forward to it.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time today. All right.
Thank you, Sherry.
As Nick became more independent in his work, job coaches began to fade their support. But how do you know when it's a good time to fade? How does a parent know when his teenager is ready to use the family car? After he's been properly trained, and when he can prove he can do it safely. That's when. It's the same with your supported employees. Once they perform the work successfully a number of times, you can step back.
Here. Right here, and then pull him over.
But be prepared
Yeah.
to step back
Pull
in
him
to provide
that way.
support when it's needed.
Yeah.
Eventually, you may be able to fade from the workplace entirely.
Nick loves people. You're smiling now. That's
People
what I
really
like
like
to
to engage with Nick, and he's a fun guy to be around. In order for a job situation to be successful, there's got to be that social aspect of it.
He's worked hard to get to an independent state in his life.
The workplace where he is right now and the people from Advanced Employment have given him that sense of independence that he didn't have before.
I think the ultimate goal of a job coach is to help a person like Nick find success.
Nick works hard. He gets paid. He's become more independent. And he enjoys the friendships he's made with his coworkers. He couldn't have done it without the help of his job coaches.